There are three major categories of lives lived by John Henry, each one a full life for us mere mortals. There is the extremely successful businessman, and now, without a doubt, the most accomplished, widely accomplished volunteer Hawaii has ever produced or seen in at least 100 or more years. And finally, there was even a political life. A 14-year city councilman, served on countless boards and commissions, and he was a cabinet officer to our first state governor. And he reorganized the state agencies from nearly 100 separate departments down to 18 as required by the state constitution. And permeating them all was his life purpose, service above self. It was formed very early in his life, and he followed it religiously, helping those in need, in pain, or suffering. As he said throughout his life, quote, "There is no higher purpose."
May his example inspire us to lead with humility, to give without seeking return, and to serve not for recognition, but for the betterment of humanity. Grant us the courage to carry forward his mission, to advocate for peace, to educate with an open mind, and to act with compassion. May this gathering be a reflection of his values, one of unity, purpose, and the pursuit of a better world.
La luce che tu dai,
I pray you will find your
nel
light
cuore resterà,
and hold it in our
a
heart.
ricordarti che
Stars go out each night.
l'eterna stella sei nella mia preghiera.
Let this be our prayer.
Quanta fede
Shadows
c'è,
fill our day.
lead us to a place,
Guide us with your grace.
give us faith so we'll be saved.
Softly falls the light of day, while our campfire fades away. Have I done and have I dared in everything to be prepared?
I just want to thank everyone for absorbing some of the greatness that was John Henry Felix. John Henry was not just a part of the history of the state of Hawaii. He was the history of the state of Hawaii. And if we can have the young people of the next generations get to know and remember his legacy, we'll all be better for it. So thank you, family, for sharing him with us for all of these years. Thank you, leaders, heroes, all of you in this room, for honoring him tonight, because he would love this. He would love to see his friends come together, not one last time, but for a lifetime as we go forward in his legacy. Love to you all.
The difference between men is in energy, in the strong will, in the singleness of purpose, and an invincible determination. But the great difference is in sacrifice, in self-denial, in love and loyalty, in fearlessness and humility, in the pursuit of excellence, and in the perfectly disciplined will. Because this is not only the difference in men, this is the difference between great men and little men. John will forever live in my heart, and forever, as Governor Green alluded to, the legacy of this great city that we all get to call home.
It's a joy to be here to celebrate the life of John Henry Felix. I decided that I was going to invite him over for breakfast after I'd gotten elected governor, So I said, John, I'd like to have you come over and talk to me about veterans. So we did that. He came over, he had steak and eggs, and he talked about what he thought ought to be done for Hawaii's veterans. And as a result of that conversation, the first thing that was established in the state of Hawaii was an office for Veterans Affairs. Today, if you go to the Capitol grounds, there's a memorial honoring those who served in the Korean War and in the Vietnam War. Thank you, John Henry. And as he was finishing up his steak, he looked up at me and he said, you know, where those who have fought for our country are to be buried. And there was no place for veterans from Hawaii to go. And John Henry came up and he said, I got a spot for you. He contributed the land that is now the Veterans Cemetery in Kaneohe. You know? Thank you, John Henry. I am thankful that I got to know such a man. I am extremely grateful for that opportunity.
In addition to the many cherished years I was fortunate to share with John Henry here in Hawaii, we also formed a very special bond through our shared experiences at the University of Oxford in Europe. During my fellowships and academic studies there, I had the privilege of witnessing firsthand John Henry's extraordinary contributions and his deep, unwavering love for that institution, as mentioned. And to him, Oxford represented far more than simply a place of learning. It embodied culture, knowledge, education, history, excellence, the arts, faith, hope, and perhaps most profoundly, humanity itself. And John Henry, I say to you, Dominus Illuminatio Mea, which we would say together many times at Oxford, which you can roughly translate to God, shed your light on me. And John Henry, may God shed his light on you. Thank you.
People like John pop up in our life, and they make a difference. They make a difference in the direction of our state. They make a difference in how our people feel and toward each other. If they're kind leaders, teach others. John Henry was all of that. So tonight, to the family of John Henry Felix, my deepest condolences. I want to thank you for having John be a part of my life.
John Henry Felix was friends with, worked for, and with, on behalf of the people of Hawaii, from everybody from the first governor, Bill Quinn, right through to the 9th governor, Josh Green. Every single one. It's no exaggeration that what was said, no exaggeration that the history of Hawaii, from a territory to a governorship, to becoming a 50th state of the Union, to the present day, is suffused with John Henry Felix. It's often said at events like this, you know, they don't make them like him or her anymore. Well, they don't. I can't think of anyone, no one in this room, can you think of anybody that's going to be like John Henry Felix in terms of the history of our state? May God lead us kindly through these times, but above all, may God lead us to himself. I know that just as with Shakespeare, John Henry knew this above all, to thine own self be true. I know that God is leading John Henry Felix to himself. Thank you very much.
He was a person who lived with intensity and in spirit until the very end. And my brother and I were with him at the very end. He was very complex, high energy and exacting in work and art and at home. And he inspired my sister, who's predeceased my father, and my brother and Johnny and I, with his generous spirit and his work ethic and his aesthetic sense and his discipline and his sense of humor and fun. He was just so much fun. And my family and I are very grateful to have had my father in our lives. He touched us, enriched us, and he made us laugh like no one could. And we so appreciate everyone coming here today and participated tonight. And thank you so much.